Negotiation. Negotiation is the use of information and power to affect the behavior within a web of tension. A web of tension. Using the information and the power. What is the information? Information is that the more information you have about the other side, priorities, timelines, costs, real needs, and organization pressures, the better you can bargain. And the sooner you start to acquire the information, the easier to get. If you start to acquire the information later, the hard you to get because the other side maybe they learn to give you the information if they already find that you're trying to get some information from them. So this is the core of the negotiation. If you don't know their dynamics, if you don't know what their real needs, you don't know how to bargain. So information is the most important part for the negotiation. And second most important part is the power. You need to use the power to try to convince the other side, to persuade the other side. And the power is only in your perception. If you can or you cannot, you are always right. So you should always have the confidence that you have the power to convince them. Even you are like a slaver in the jail, you still have power to convince the soldier or the guy who are guard you. So in the you can negotiate anything. The book they have listed all the power you can leverage. The first one is a competition. You can create some competition for your other side. For example, if the one distributor say I don't want to do this, you can tell him that maybe the other distributors they can support us to do some of the job. This is called build up some competitions to help you to negotiate. When you do the shopping, you will always say, okay, if you don't sell this price to me, your labor shop will sell this product at my favorite price to me. It's called competition. This is a very important power you can leverage. The second one is legitimacy. Legitimacy, something like the law, something like the printed materials, something like the authority announcements. For example, for now we're trying to pay for the consumer tax. Why we pay consumer tax? Because the government they make announcements, they make the announcement on the newspapers. All these printed official announcements from the government are very well for convincing power. If anybody want to say, okay, I don't want to pay, and you give him the newspaper shows the announcement from the government, and he will surrender and he will pay the consumer tax. This is called the legitimacy. Sometimes why we need to all the print out all the flyers, print out all the cashback flyers, print out all the promotion flyers is, is to make the promoter to have more power to convince the customer within the printed materials because people are believing in the printed materials more rather than you just verbally talking to them. And third one is the risk taking. When you're trying to take more risk, you will be more bold and you are trying to asking for more and you are not afraid to lose. So you can have more negotiating power. And the fourth part is commitment. Always try to get commitment from the other side. For example, if we want to get a good counter location, right? And you negotiate with the shop owner. Shop owner say, okay, no problem, I will move for you. But if you don't sign a contract with him, if you don't get a commitment from him, he will not do it. So when you talk to some guy, he will say, okay, talk to the shop owner, he will say, I will think about it. I will talk with my wife. That is not commitment. You should get his commitment, say, okay, ask you should insist that if you give us this kind of location, what kind of benefits they can gain, and until he verbally and commit you that he will do it, he will move the counter to the better locations. And the fifth one is expertise. So people are more believe in the doctors because we think that the doctors they have the expertise to cure the disease. This is called expertise. So that's why we need to train the supervisor, train the promoters to make them to have more product knowledge. We want to let them to understand how we evaluate a phone, how uh, which part is more important for a phone, and which part is more important for make the value, make the benefits for the consumers. If you are more expertise in the phone selling skills, in the phone product knowledges, you will be more convincing when you talk to the customers. And the other part is that the knowledge of the needs. Okay, if you don't know the consumer's needs, then you don't know how to convince him. But if you know how to what the needs, then you will know how to convince him. Okay, another convincing power is the investment. Okay, you are asking him to invest a lot of time and invest a lot of money on it, he will be more cooperative. For example, if you talk to a consumer for 1 hour, the the opportunity to make the deal is much more higher than you just talk to a consumer for 5 minutes. Because the consumer's already invested 1 hour to stay with you, he don't want to. It's very hard for him to change to other brands anymore. So try to make the other side to invest more time and more money on you. And another convincing power is a rewarding or punishment. This is very easy to understand. If you cooperate with me, you will get this rewarding. If you don't cooperate with me, if you don't, you will get this punishment, something like that. But you need to speak to some consumers in a very skillful way. And then the identification. Some guys want to maintain a very good brand, very good image. So you will say, okay, you're a very big boss. Don't just try to get the small money from me by negotiating for this small part. Something like that. You try to make him to maintain his good image and to maintain his ego. This is called his identification. And then morality. Morality. Sometimes we also use this kind of morality and emotional tactics when we convincing our distributors. For example, if there is any flooding area, you will say, okay, please, you need to donate some money. Okay, you should be like a moral model for everyone, right, to follow. We use this kind of skills to convincing people. And the power of precedent. A lot of rules, you just follow the precedent. Is much more easy to convince people. Okay, when people challenge you that why I need to pay you this sum of money, you can tell him that yes, last year we paid this amount of money, so they will not asking you again. Right? It's very convincing because this happened before. That's called precedent. And then persistence. So when you're asking for something, when you negotiate for something, when the other side talk back and you give up, then you cannot negotiate and you cannot get anything. So a lot of times you have to be persistently to asking for what you want, right? Be persistent and be hanging there and fight for it. Try one more time with the negotiation. Another one is the persuasive capacity. Persuasive capacity is very important for the sales. It's regarding a lot of things, your knowledge and how you make your wording when you're talking, and even your appearance also matters. If you wear a jet or if you wear a suit, your convincing power, your persuasive power is different. And how you talking is in a manner way or in an angry way, the persuasive power is also different. We need a lot of practice on this part. And the final one for the power you can leverage, the attitude. You can be in good attitude to win the favor of the other side. So the other side can be more cooperative and then you can get what you want. So apart from the information, and you can leverage all these powers to help you to get what you want. And another part is the time. For the time of the negotiation, which is a very important concept is that since most concession behavior and settlements will occur at the or even beyond that line, just be patient. A lot of time when we lost a lot of money or when we lost a lot of money in the negotiation is because we are not patient. We are very panic. We want to close the deal as soon as possible. So we surrender. But actually be patient and take it easy. You should care, but not so much. Some people when they negotiate they carry too much. So they are not patient. And they lose a lot of money actually they can get when they negotiation. And in a adversary negotiation, your best way is not to reveal your real deadline to the other side. So you should hide your deadlines, and you should understand the other side's deadlines, so you can leverage. And the third part is that precipitous actions should be taken only when it is guaranteed to be your advantages. So never commit or never compromise when you didn't get anything advantaged. So there's a very important sentence here. As long as you get there before it is over, you are never late. You are never late. Patient, 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 and the patient pays you. Okay, we already understand that information and the powers are very important for negotiation, and also the time is also very important for the negotiation. So you understand the methodology of the negotiation, and now you need a lot of practice. You practice every day, you practice for all the aspects of your life, and practice makes perfect. There are some common mistakes I listed below for your reference. The first one, no bottom lines and no objective before the negotiation, and have more than 3 key objectives. You should not have more than 3 key objectives, because if you have more objectives, you will be very you don't know how to negotiate, but you want too much, and you don't know which is the priority one. And if you don't have any objective, you will also get by a lot of loss because you just give out the things without any rewarding. And always be a caller, not to be a callee. Okay, when you call someone, you already know what you want from him. But when you receiving a call from other guy, the guy will asking for a lot of things, but you don't get prepared. You don't know how to negotiate. Do you want when you receive a call? So when you receive a call, get someone asking for your payment or for giving you an offer, don't commit or don't uh, promise anything when during the phone call. You can say, okay, maybe I will check and will call you back, something like that. This is more effective and more smart doing. Another one is that negotiator is always the final decision maker. Decision maker the best situation is that decision maker should not be in the negotiation. You will, the decision maker should ask the another guy to enroll of him to do the negotiation. So every time when the other side they come up with some requirements, and the negotiator can say, okay, I will go and ask my boss. So this is kind of tricks. So, but for you, when you negotiate with the other side, you will always try to find out who is the decision maker, and to convince him is much more important than convince other guys. For example, if you want to get a better content location, you should find a shop owner, not a shop manager. Even maybe you should find the shop owner's wife, because maybe the shop owner wife is the decision maker. You should talk to the shop owner wife. And when someone asking for money from Huawei, you should not let him to find the charge. You should not let him to find me to get them the commitment, because it's better you are going to negotiate in law of charge, in law for me. So when they come up with some requirements, you can say, okay, I will talk to the boss. I will talk to uh, the region, the headquarters, something like that. Sometimes we need a major negotiator, and we need to make a good guy and a bad guy in a negotiation. So this is for big projects. Sometimes when we going to talk to the customers, we will a group of people to go and talk to them. So you need to set the roles of the negotiator. Who play for the bad guy? Who play for the good guy? Okay, and always don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to asking for more, and don't be afraid of the other side's rejection. And don't be panic when the other side is angry or hostile. You know, because every time when people run into a negotiation situation, they must have something from you, right? So why you panic? Even they are angry, they are hostile. They still want something from you. So there's still some base for each side to engage in the negotiation. And don't argue. Always give them the reasons and persuade them in a manner, in a good manner way. And always be patient. And when you're listening, not just listening their words, but try to observing the other side's body language. The body language have more information than their words they are talking. And a lot of negotiator, they just accept the first offer from the other side. This is very stupid, you know. Never accepted the first offer from the other side. When the other side get the offer, you can negotiate at least a little bit. right? So every time when you go out for shopping, try to try to practice your negotiation skills by bargaining with the shop owner and don't accept his first offer. Another one is compromising without any rewarding and compromise too easily and too fast. These are very stupid. When the other side say asking you, we need to pay for this signage for 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 USD, and you just say, okay, no problem, maybe pay for it. That's very stupid. Even asking for more, right? You can say, okay, according to the company rules, I can only pay you $5,000. But if you're asking for $10,000, then you need to get me another benefits. For example, you need to achieve the target of 1,000 units per month. You need to give us the best the best content location. For example, like that. You need to set the goal, set the you need to set the targets for your shop staff of selling Huawei for this month. So always use the if I give you this, then what you can give to me. Use this kind of sentence to bargain. Some guy or even very stupid to show side and expect the other side behaving like a good guy. In his logic, he's thinking that if I'm shoe side, if I'm say okay, I agree, I will give. The other side isn't asking you anything, but you say okay, I'll give you 5,000 for this part, and he expected the other side to behave like okay, to behave like a happy and mm, already already very satisfied. You know, people are greedy. People never satisfied. So you should always let him to gain something, but not in a easy way. You have let him to feel that he wins the negotiation. If you give him a 10,000, he will asking for 20,000. Okay, he will never be satisfied if you shoot side. And then let the other side draft the contract terms and benchmark the price. Never do that. Okay, so uh, as a smart negotiator, you will always try to draft your contract terms by your own. If you have a house you want to rent out, so you have to make all the rent agreement terms by your own. You write the terms by your own. Don't let the tenants to write their contract terms. This is very important. Surrender to other side's extreme negotiation position and emotional tactics. You will notice that a lot of Indian guys are very good at negotiation. They are very good at the emotional tactics. When you say no, don't do that, and he will shouting out, he will crying, and even he will begging you, something like that. He will very emotional tactics, and don't surrender. You know that they are trying to demonstrating all the emotions and trying to make you to agree for something. Another one is compromise bit by bit, but do not make the agreements as a whole. Someone they know that they cannot get all these requirements to be fulfilled by you at the one time. So he just say, okay, please give me this part first, and then okay, you say you surrender and you give him this part, and after 2 days he'll say, I also need that part, and then you give him that part, and then after another week he come back again to asking for more. You know, it seems like some of distributor in some other country, we already find some of distributors and working like that way. The distributor, they just 2 months ago they asking for the best price, and after we give them best price, and they come here and come back, then we say, okay, I have a new situation that I should get more, uh, give more incentive, something like that. They just bit by bit. to gain all the benefits from you. We have to be very careful on this one, and then we will say, okay, I can support you for this time, but this is the last time. And then another one is a second round concession is more than the first round concession. If you make the second round concession more than the first round concession, you will you will make the other side thinking that you still have some room to compromise. So he will continually to try to gain more from you. So don't do that. And then tell customer a higher price before demonstrate benefits fully. If you don't tell him all the benefits and you're asking for high price, you can never make a deal with the customers. And then tell customers a better solution before a worse one. If you tell a better solution before a worse one, he will always thinking that you still have something better to offer, you know. So you always know how to control the whole process of the negotiation. Which one's the first, which one's the second, which one's the third is very important. The order of the wording, the order of the talking is very important. Another one is that do not know which are the needs, wants, and what can be traded off. Some money we call soft money, some money we call hard money. You can use your soft money to treat for the other side's hard money. For example, um, for the service part, maybe you can give better service, but you don't increase a lot of cost, and you can give him this benefits and trade off more money, more payments from the other side. This is we call this part we can trade off, and which is our bottom line we cannot trade off. That's our needs, and which part is just I want, but it's better to get. If not get, is also okay for me. That's called wants. So you need to understand before the negotiation which are your bottlenecks, which are needs, which are the your wants, which are the parts we can trade off. And also you need to know other side's real needs and deadlines. Another one is that don't another one you need to ask him the counter questions. Don't answer the directly to the other side's questions to provide them more information about you. When other side asks you questions, as a sales, they never answer directly. They will thinking, okay, this question, how to answer it. If I answer like this way, like what they want, they will know more about me, and they will make advantage of all the information I provide to him and to try to bargain with me. So it's really bad, especially for the price, especially for the specs of the new products. It's very important that you keep it in secret, before we launch it. When the other shop owner or when the distributors ask you about the specs, they're asking you about the price of the new product. If they understand that the price and the specs of the new product, they will not try to get the old products which have the same price range and the specs are lower. So you will affect your sales through, you will affect your sale out. Should be very careful. And you should know how to show the surprise. When the other side give you some of the offer while surprising you, you should be performing like you're always surprised. Or sometimes you need to pretend we're surprised, even you know that information already before the negotiation, and you still need to pretend that what so so high price, what the fuck, why so expensive, something like that. You should perform this. You should pretend that you're always surprised and try to bargain that. And sometimes when you work hard to convince the negotiator, you will try to find another way, for example, to influence his relatives or friends and together to convince the guy. And most importantly, you don't believe in the words. You should analyze what the people are doing, right? What they are doing is more important rather than what they're saying. And the final one is that you should not be stubborn and always be open-minded to accept some alternative solutions. Then you can get more